Welcome back to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Rescue Team DX. In the last part, we defeated Raikou in the Lightning Field, and now it's time to head out to save Latias. But before we do that, there's a little something I want to take care of, and you already know what it is, based on where I'm going. You can hear a voice from somewhere. It's time to evolve a Pokemon. I went out and picked up a few more evolution crystals, because someone that we're bringing along today is going to be evolving. It's Biollante. I've probably mentioned this before. Roserade is one of my favorite Pokemon. I really like its design, I really like its use, and though I'm not a massive fan of grass types, I like the more offensive grass types, and Roserade definitely fits the bill there. Here we go, look at that. What a great looking Pokemon. And with that, it is now time to head out to Pitfall Valley. This dungeon sounds a little scary. It's only 25 floors, so I imagine it could be quite difficult. This is the team we're going to be bringing: Pricious, Biollante, fully evolved now, and Discord. I'm just bringing the strongest team I think I've got, other than Ashley, because of course Ashley is off doing her own thing in the other story arc. Oh man, I'm going to enjoy looking at Biollante all through this part, I'm sure. So here we are, Pitfall Valley. Oh, I was about to compliment the dungeon on giving me the stairs straight away, but I guess not. Light Screen TM. Violent Seed. Yeah, okay, we'll take that. Apples, elixirs, Chesto Berry. I'm gonna pass on these items, though they'd be nice to have. I want to hold on to some inventory space to see what else the dungeon has to offer. And let's immediately proceed, I suppose, down to the second floor of Pitfall Valley. Is that a Pidgey? That is a Pidgey. Okay, I wasn't expecting to see something as lacking in strength, to put it nicely. But I imagine this is a valley, right? So as we get further down, the Pokemon are going to change. We're starting with some flying types, some birds, because we're right at the top of the valley. But as we go further down, I'm sure we'll end up with some rock types, maybe some Pokemon that like to live in the darkness. So bats and maybe even some bugs. We'll see how it plays out. There's a Farfetch'd. We can't evolve you to Surfetch'd, though. So, I did a little bit... Oh my goodness, Biollante, have mercy. So, I did a little bit of changing around of moves for quite a few Pokemon on the team, and that will all come to light in good time. But the main one that you'll see right now, I taught Discord Signal Beam instead of Fire Fang, because he's really lacking a ranged option outside of Discharge, and we never really used Fire Fang all that much, so I just straight up replaced it. And with that, he really has completely supplanted poor Magnus, who... Is that a collection of Ledaba over there? It is, so there are some bugs here. And then there's another bird up there. So yeah, he's completely supplanted Magnus now, and I did mention that I would like to use Magnus a little bit more. And we are going to discharge all those Ledaba. Only one of them fainted? Well, that got the rest of them. That was a surprise. Discord really does rely on Wild Charge for all of his damage. His special base moves don't do too much, but they're there. And they give him a bit more coverage, and that's the main thing. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so I've been changing up some moves across the board for a lot of Pokemon. Biollante and Pricious have remained the same, but quite a few members of the team have been upgraded to a degree, and you'll see that as we use them all in coming parts. And I also put a lot of drinks into Discord, so that Discharge is more powerful, more accurate, and has more PP. And speaking of PP, Energy Ball now has 30 PP, because I put as many PP up drinks into it as I possibly could, which is great because both Biollante and Precious have Energy Ball, and it's pretty much our primary attacking move. It's also been buffed up in terms of power and accuracy for Precious as well. We're making really quick progress through this dungeon, actually. We might actually, if this goes well, be able to squeeze in the next part of Ashley's arc into this video as well. Oh, ow. Please stop that. I don't have to deal with this. This might not go very well, actually. The Letterba are striking back. I'm just gonna heal up to be safe. Let's not take any unnecessary risks, I suppose. Ooh, big crit, very nice. Mark Punch, yeah, that's not gonna hurt too much. It now stands out to me that Pricious doesn't have any AoE options. I really should have moved into the room to give both Discord and Biolante a chance to use their AoE moves, though Petal Blizzard isn't too tremendously powerful. I actually do want to check, I didn't pay a lot of attention to Biolante's stats when she evolved. Where are your stats? Oh, they're right there on the first page. Yeah, 68 attack isn't a massive amount, so Petal Blizzard being physical is not really amazing, but it's AoE and that's all we really need it to be. She has a lot of other coverage with her special base moves, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, and Energy Ball. Decoy Seed. Ooh, I always like Tiny Reviver Seeds whenever I can get them. And a Pure Seed, okay. Man, it would be very funny to take all of these, then Pure Seed to the stairs and steal them. I did that in Explorers of Sky a couple of times. Oh, I can't afford this. Is there anything I can sell? Because I really would like this Aurora Veil TM. It's a really powerful move. But at the same time, we don't really have a Hail team built up, and as I said in the last part, I'm not really looking to add any more Pokemon to the team. I'm really happy with what we've got so far, so I guess we'll pass on it. It would be nice to have, but maybe in another time, in another game, in another playthrough. Man, tons of Tiny Reviver Seeds. Speaking of which, when I was grinding regular dungeons, I found out Sinister Woods is an amazing spot to grind for Reviver Seeds. Eradicate. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Oof, man, that damage. So these post-game story arcs, the two that we're doing right now, the Clear Wing arc and the Saving Latias arc, they seem to be a lot easier than the main dungeons, I suppose, if you consider Stormy Sea a main dungeon, and then you've got the boss rematches as well. And I've mentioned that they do have to give you some kind of easy content to do because, well, we saw how difficult Stormy Sea was upon getting to the post-game. It was something we couldn't do immediately. But I'm hoping it does get a little bit more challenging. And I kind of expected this one to be the challenging one. Especially when I saw it was only 25 floors. The lower floor dungeons at this stage of the game, I always associate with being tougher. I think back to Explorers of Sky, and I think of the 7 Legendary Treasures dungeons, where some of them were only like 10 or 15 floors, but they were pretty difficult because of the level of the Pokemon in there. But I guess it doesn't seem to be the case necessarily quite yet. I know there will be challenging, very difficult dungeons later on in the very end of the game. I know that there are some 99 floor dungeons. I've seen a couple of Marilands videos that have gone on for 5 hours in some of the very end game dungeons, which I don't know if I'm going to be covering as part of this series. I didn't do all of the end game dungeons in Explorers of Sky, just because I'm not sure I could make entertaining videos out of dungeons that long, and it will probably remain the same here. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's pick up a loot box, because I love a loot box. Oh, Sparkling Tile. I'm also curious that I'm imagining this dungeon will have a boss, because most of these dungeons seem to, as part of the story arcs, but I honestly couldn't guess what it could be. A valley, legendary Pokemon, generations 1 to 3. Haven't a clue what it could be, so I'm looking forward to being surprised. I'm looking for an apple, that's what I'm trying to do here. And since we evolved Biolante in this part, I wanted to talk a little bit about her as a character, which is something I've been doing a bit more recently. We already talked about Discord and Pricious to an extent in the last couple of videos, but Biolante is back in the fold and it's her time in the spotlight, so let's talk a little bit about her. And the nickname itself is kind of is appropriate, I feel, for Biollante, who is a very graceful Pokemon, but there's that secret, hidden mean streak, I suppose, where she's actually quite aggressive, quite dangerous. So the monstrous nickname based on the monster in Godzilla, I feel is very appropriate. Very graceful for certain, but takes no nonsense from anyone. Ah, this Butterfree is just going to be using Silverwind all the time. That's fine. Yeah, Biollante has no concept of mercy, I think it's fair to say. She's a little scary in that regard. But again, I like to think of the interactions between the characters more than their actual character necessarily. And Pricious being very stoic, calm, I suppose it's fair to say, certainly brings Biollante down a little bit, similarly to the situation with Discord. And I also think that Discord and Biollante, we've paired them up a couple of times. We did Stormy Sea with them. I feel like they have a bit of a rivalry going on. They're both, I feel like they're always striving to outdo each other, since they are two of our bigger hitting Pokemon, Discord especially. But Biollante has a lot of coverage as well, which is nice. Nope, nope, nope. We already have a Yanma. I'm not bringing you along because your speed boost activates every few steps, and it's really annoying. I feel like we had the same problem in Colosseum, where I wanted to use Yanma, but every time I tried, its speed boost really annoyed me, because the animations in Colosseum are really long, and having to get through speed boost every single turn was driving me crazy. Surround Wand. Waving it at a Pokemon warps your teammates to surround that Pokemon. It's the Get 'em Boys wand. I like it. Okay, I'm taking that along. When it comes to inventory space, I like to carry wands. I just love the amount of utility that they provide. It feels like you've always got an answer for any situation if you're carrying this many wands, and maybe I'm over-indexing slightly on wands, but everyone has their own little niches and preferences in gameplay, and this is certainly mine. Please stop that. I don't know what that is that we're hitting. It's a Masquerain. Oh, please stop missing. I put so many accuracy drinks into you. What have we got here? A Life Seed. Oh, well, we'll just straight up eat that, I suppose. I actually put a couple of Life Seeds into Discord before we started today, because I knew we'd be evolving Biollante and she'd get a bit of extra HP, so in order for Discord to keep up, I gave him some Life Seeds. He certainly needs the ability to take a few more hits, and Biollante levels up. Well, well, I'm suddenly tougher. I leveled up. Oh, there's a Swablu. So I guess my predictions, my guesses on what kinds of Pokemon we'd be seeing here were pretty accurate, so far at least. We're about halfway through the dungeon, and we've seen more flying types, we've seen bug types. We haven't yet seen any Pokemon that might enjoy living in darkness, but I imagine that it's been a recurring theme up until now. We'll probably get a bit of a change of scenery before too long, maybe on the next floor, since it would be pretty much the halfway point. What have we got all the way over here? Is this worth my time? Yes, it's money. It's always worth my time. I really wish you could control the moves of your recruits. I mean, it makes sense that you can't, but it is a little bit annoying when you have a recruit along that has a move like Silverwind and they use it every turn as long as there's an enemy somewhere in the room. Just like this. In that case, it was fine, because it seems that Discord just hasn't quite got the punch needed to knock these things out right now. As I said, he is more of a physical attacker. Most of his damage is the Charge Wild Charge combo. So Discharge and Signal Beam are just mainly to give him more options. But even then, a super effective Discharge, only doing 81 damage, with same type attack bonus, it's a bit of a surprise. And to be fair, it isn't all that ranked up. Maybe I'm overestimating Discord's actual genuine attacking power because we have recoil boost on Wild Charge, increasing its damage output. But I don't think his stats are all that bad. I don't know. We should be leading the way with Pricious though, since we have X-ray specs. What do we got over here? 3 items organized in a suspicious triangle. What could they be? What could the room be? Is it a monster house? Oh, this could be a monster house, actually, so... Discord. Nope, never mind. Well, it never hurts to be careful. I don't need these iron spikes. Let's move on. Oh, nice. Oh, a Scyther. We never did get that change of scenery. An Aerodactyl, there we go. Now we're seeing a few different types of Pokemon. Let's take you out. It'd be pretty cool to recruit an Aerodactyl. Rock and Flying is such a weird typing. There really aren't very many Pokemon that use it. Aerodactyl, one of them, and then the other one that stands out to me is Archeops, and its pre-evolved form, Archon. Incidentally, both fossil Pokemon. I usually associate rock types with being quite bulky and kind of more Juggernaut kind of Pokemon. And then flying types are generally your fast glass cannons, so the rock-flying combination is always very interesting. And Aerodactyl is pretty much a glass cannon. Its defensive capabilities aren't terrible, I suppose, but it's certainly more offensively geared, and then Archeops is even more so. I think it'd be interesting to see a different rock flying type with a slightly different take on... Why did I do that? With a slightly different take on the typing. And when I consider typing with Pokemon, I generally have some kind of idea of what that typing means. I am just missing all these sludge bombs for no good reason. It's okay, Discord's got me covered. There we go, it's the first one of those we've seen in a while. There's another Aerodactyl. Yeah, and I mentioned previously that I tend to associate fairy types with being supportive, and I tend to associate grass types with being defensive, more utility-focused Pokemon. And I'd like to think we've bucked that trend at least with Biolante, not being very defensively geared at all. And often, Pokemon that I like tend to buck those trends. Like Luxray, for example, one of my favorite electric types. I really like it because it's not your traditional fast glass cannon electric type, like Discord. I don't want to throw that. I very almost pressed A on the throw button there. Let's swap out a person band, we don't need it. And the reason I like Luxray is because it's more of a brawler. A little bit slower, a little bit bulkier, but hits very, very hard. Oh, agility. They changed agility in this game, and I certainly prefer it in this game. It feels more balanced. But it certainly was a lot of fun to use when we had it on Ego, the Staraptor. There's a couple of changes to moves that, again, make the game feel a little healthier and more balanced, but I do miss the old versions of them. Like, Baton Pass, again, is kind of fun. Was kind of fun in Explorers of the Sky. It works a little differently now. But again, I mean, I've said it a million times. It gives me a good reason to go back and play Explorers of Sky. And I had a comment recently ask me, if they make an Explorers of Sky remake, will I make a Let's Play of it? It's a good question. I think I'd probably prefer to play that game for myself. As much as I loved playing Explorers of Sky for you as a Let's Play, my progress with the game was gated by having to produce videos on it. Meaning I could only play it a couple of times a week for a couple of hours a week in total. It actually has been a long time up until recently since I've sat down and really grinded through a game, and I'm looking forward to doing that with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Since that has just come out, I'm probably going to pick that up sometime soon and just grind all the way through that really long RPG. In the last couple of weeks, I've actually sat down and tried to finish some of the games that I started and didn't finish, and I've had on my list for a long time, and I actually managed to get through a bunch. I finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey recently, which is a fantastic game. I beat Celeste in 2 days, and anyone who knows me knows I'm not very good at 2D platformers, so I'm quite proud of getting through that game. And I'm just trying to work through my list so that I can justifiably buy Xenoblade. Because I look at my list of games and I'm like, I really should not buy another game. But I kind of got on a tangent there. The point being, oh, you have Bug Buzz. That's pretty cool. Let's deal with you with Signal Beam. There we go. But yeah, the point being, if they ever made an Explorers of Sky remake in this style, I probably wouldn't blind Let's Play it like I've done with this game. I would love to be able to sit down and just play all the way through that game by myself and experience it in the way that I experienced most Pokemon games as a kid. Oh, Petrify wands. Now we don't need those. We have Stay Away wands, which are just objectively better. That's Petal Blizzard. I don't know what we're attacking. An Aerodactyl. Discharge. There we go. So yeah, when I was a kid, I remember getting a new Pokemon game and pretty much just playing it non-stop until I beat it. Particularly as I got a little bit older, and my parents stopped minding so much about me spending my entire life playing video games. To be fair, when I was a kid and when I'd first picked up Pokemon, I didn't grind it out as much as I did as I got older. I think I was kind of testing the waters. And I still beat Sapphire pretty quickly, but compared to one that stands out to me especially is X and Y, though I don't really like X and Y all that much. Do we not have Whirlwind wands? Well, I guess we probably don't need them if we have Petrify wands. I'm just trying to condense down the amount of wands that I'm using. But yeah, X and Y really stands out to me as a game that I pretty much beat in one sitting. I think I had about an hour or two nap. Oh no, we can't recruit Aerodactyl. Well, you can tag along anyway, just for a little while longer, I suppose. This is going to be a monster house coming up here, by the looks of things. And Biolante, can you help out this Butterfree, please? So something interesting about Steamroll, actually, slight tangent again, as we deal with this monster house, is that though it removes not very effective and non-effective moves, it doesn't remove them from a type matchup equation. Oh, this is a lot of pressure. Well, how much PP did that drain? We didn't get the pop-up, so I don't think it's completely out of PP. I don't know what we had before, but we had 8 this time, so let's see what all of these Aerodactyl's pressure means. But the point I was going to make is that using Grass-type moves on Aerodactyl is a perfect example of if you remove the Flying type from the type equation, Grass should be super effective, but it's actually not. Oh, a gold ribbon. Let's get that. Yeah, Steamroll doesn't allow you to start hitting things super effectively. It just removes the not very effective. So I suppose that's balanced as well. I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. So that did drain 8 PP from Discharge, but I think we're all right. Let's just, you know what? We're probably about to fight a boss, and these Pokemon are quite frail, and we have plenty of Auron Berries already, so let's actually give that one to our Butterfree. We don't necessarily need to worry about PP, because the boss fight is going to restore that. And what else have we got? I really should stop standing on things. I also didn't mean to talk to you, I just meant to check for traps. Yeah, see? Take a tiny Reviver Seed, though, and we'll swap out this apple since we are pretty much done now. And let's move on. So yeah, getting back to my point before we got distracted by the monster house and talking about Steamroll and stuff. I really would like to just sit down and grind out an Explorers of Sky remake, if they do make one. So I would probably just play that one for myself. But that's not to say I wouldn't ever make a series on it. I've always had an interest in making walkthrough style Let's Plays, like I did with Ultra Despair Girls, akin to Mariland and Chugga Conroy. And I kind of fell into the blind Let's Plays, and it worked really nicely with how I want to produce my videos. Oh, we are out of energy ball, PP. That's fine. Hang in there, Discord, you're fine. You're frozen, but you're fine. You're just chilling out. You're fine. Hey, you thawed out. It's fine. Discord can handle it. What's that behind us? Another Aerodactyl. Can we take that thing out? Not quite. I don't know why I used Petal Blizzard. I could have used Energy Ball, but it's fine, we got it. Completely lost my train of thought again. Well, it doesn't matter because we're done now anyway. 25th floor? Oh, well, I guess this is just a dungeon then. Wait, that's the wrong move. I guess we're not getting a boss? Unless there's a boss after this, but usually they factor the boss floor in to the number of floors in the dungeon. So it would be 24 regular floors and then a boss floor. So I'm guessing there's not going to be our boss here. That's fine. It's pretty cool, actually. Mixing up the formula a little bit. So let's get through here. Well, let's have Biolante deal with this Aerodactyl. 2 in a row. Again, Biolante knows no mercy. And we'll take this deluxe box. We can swap out these Geopebbles. We certainly don't need those. And let's head over to where these 2 items are hanging out. Whoops. Wow, that just doesn't do any damage. I really should use a Max Elixir. That would be the smart thing to do. Well, this prompt saves my life once more. I was like, we've got Overgrow, it'll be fine. I'm making some silly decisions at the moment. Let's just get out of here before I do anything even stupider than that. Looks like we're done. Scary face. You do have a scary face, but it's not scary enough. Alright. There you are. You are... Did you maybe come to save me? Yes, I'll be fine. My wing is still damaged a little, but I can go. Is it really this straightforward? We did it! Okay. I expected that to be a little bit more complicated than that, but I love it when a plan comes together. I also love it when we get rainbow gummies. And I love it when we pick up new recruits. Welcome to the team, Butterfree. Latias. Latios! Aw, this is cute. You're safe. This is incredible. I'm sorry I caused you so much worry. Oh, this is great. It's so touching. My sister is safe, all thanks to you. To be honest, I came close to giving up. But we're back together again. It's happiness beyond words. We owe you so much gratitude. Thank you. It's okay, really. When you put it that way, it's even a little embarrassing. However, we have no money or any other way of repaying your kindness. So it's the least we can do. Maybe join your rescue team. Huh? We would like to join Team Sky Blue and help with your rescue work. Would that work? Would you be willing to accept us on your rescue team? Really? Of course we're happy to have you. Precious, you're on board, right? It doesn't give us the option to say no. I wouldn't say no anyway, I'm not that mean. Done. You're our fellow members from now on. Great to have you. Thanks for having us.
Delighted to join.
Latias joined your team, with the rare quality Mind Over Matter. And Latias joined your team, with Shared Happiness. Well, we did it. We concluded the Latias and Latios arc, I suppose. Which means Pricious is now free to take a little bit of a break, and in the next part, we'll return to Ashley and her mission, and head out to the Northwind Field. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.